Hi, and welcome to In the Front Row, all things news, reviews, and interviews. My name's Jamie Lee, and today I'll be doing a review of the Amazon Prime series, The Summer I Turned Pretty. I need to start by saying that I haven't read the books, so this isn't going to be a comparison between books to film, but by all means, if you have read the books, then let me know in the comments section if this TV adaptation did it justice or if it sucked. Whatever, let me know, because basically I'm just going to be probably gushing about this series for the next however long this video decides to go for. So I did mention books. It is based from the book by the same name, written by Jenny Hun, who's the same lady who wrote To All the Boys I've Loved Before, another series I loved. So if you like that series, or Vampire Diaries, also another favorite, minus the vampires of course, then you are going to love this, I'm sure of it. If teenage rom-coms or like coming of age shows aren't really your thing, then this definitely won't be for you, because it is in a lane and it stays in that lane for the whole drive basically, which is totally fine for me because that is my genre. I love love, I love romance, and this is a perfect fit. Plus, Taylor Swift's song This Love is in the trailer, so it's going to be really hard for me to watch this one. Not. In saying that, it wasn't actually on the top of my list of things to watch, because I do have a big list of things that I'd like to watch at the moment, and I feel like I've seen shows like this before, but I was on Prime one night and I was like, oh, I'll just give it 5 minutes, you know, see if it's cringy. And the main actress, Lola Tung, this is her first like big break, I guess you could call it, so it could go either way, you know, cringy or not. So I was like, I'll give it 5 minutes, and then that 5 minutes turned into an episode, and then I had a look at the list and I was like, there's only 7 episodes, you know, it's totally doable in a night. Anyway, I became addicted basically, so I watched the whole thing and I loved it, obviously. So I'm going to tell you about all the things that I loved about it. So the story follows Isabella, or Belly as they call her in the show, her coming of age journey. Every summer, her mum Laurel and her brother Stephen go to this dreamy beach house for a holiday. They go and meet up with Susannah and her 2 sons, who both happen to be pretty hot. You've got Jeremiah, who is Belly's best friend, and then you have Conrad, who is her first love. And basically they're like one big family, because every summer they go on this holiday, but this summer everything has changed. Yes, I did just quote Taylor Swift. Because Belly has like a glow up, she's looking gorgeous, all grown up, and everybody really is going through these like hormonal changes and emotional changes, and they're dealing with relationships and friendships that are falling in and out, I guess. Basically, we've seen stuff like this before, but the good thing about this series is that it is different in a lot of ways as well. Like, a lot of these shows focus on the teenage drama and the love triangles and like which boy will the main character pick. And don't get me wrong, this show definitely does all of that, but it's also very adult in a different way as well, if that makes sense. Maybe more mature is the word that I'm looking for. It includes the parents, for example, which a lot of these shows don't, or when they do, they're just like a filler. But in this series, you were just as invested in Laurel's relationship as much as you were Belly's. You know, you wanted her to find love and find happiness after her divorce, just as much as you were the teenagers. And then same with friendship. I was really invested in her friendship with Susannah, and you know, when they were reminiscing of their past at the club and things like that, I was into that storyline as well. And then of course there's the whole big build up with Susannah's cancer diagnosis, and you know, her saying that line that she doesn't want her ex-husband there at the end of her life. Like, oh my gosh, that was so heartbreaking. But anyway, my point is that the themes in this series were like mature or adult targeted even. There was cancer diagnosis, obviously. There was husbands cheating on their wives. There was, you know, husbands getting with younger girls as sort of trophy wives. Then there was like career changes or career struggles. And I liked that all of these like adult sort of things were included in a teenage drama series, because usually it's just all about the love triangle. But obviously there was the teenage love triangle thrown in there anyway, which I'm not complaining about one little bit, because every single boy that Belly loved at some point, I genuinely believed. Like, I thought all of them were really believable, but obviously I favored one more than the others. And I wouldn't even call it a triangle, I'd more call it a square, because she, you know, had a lot of love interests. But yeah, let's run through them a little bit. So you've got Cam Cameron, who's your stereotypical like perfect guy, which 9 times out of 10, you know, the girls don't end up wanting at that time. So this was no different. Belly had some cute scenes with Cam Cameron, but that was about it. Bye-bye, Cam Cameron. And then you have the cute scenes with Jeremiah. I mean, of course they're going to be gorgeous. He's her best friend. They've known each other forever. And some of his lines were so, so beautiful, like this one.
I guess I was just waiting.
For me?
Yeah. Do you think you could ever...
Yes.
And him calling her a goddess and calling her hot all the time. And the kissing scene in the pool was just so perfect. Like that kiss was really, really good. So I'm not complaining about that either. But then you have Belly's first crush, first love, and I believe real love thrown into the mix, and I am all for that. I am Team Connie 100%, and oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I feel so cringy saying that, because that is the one thing that I hated about this series is the nicknames that they gave. Like Jeremiah was Jer, and then like at one point I think somebody called them when they were together like Jelly, and I was just like, really? And then Conrad, you know, like I don't know what he could have been shortened to, but like they call him Connie, and I'm like, oh my gosh, these nicknames are really not working for me. But anyway, that's just nitpicking there. Anyway, so I am Team Conrad, all in 100%. I really loved how they showed like their love over time in such a short amount of time, like, you know, in these 7 episodes. He taught her how to dance, he taught her how to play football. Even in the first, I think it was like 2 to 3 minutes of the first episode, the other boys were taking a muffin and throwing it around and like, you know, taunting her and stuff like that. And they throw it to Conrad, and straight away he just gives her the muffin, you know, like no playing around, you get what you want, baby. And oh, it was just so sweet. And then him teaching her about infinity, and then eventually buying her the infinity bracelet, but not wanting to give it to her because of whatever reasons, we'll get to that later, whatever. But it was just like really, really sweet how they showed their love from the start. In comparison to what they were trying to sort of give off, that, you know, Jeremiah's the one and Jeremiah's the good guy. It was like, yes, Jeremiah's been in love with her, but, you know, he's sort of like only been in love with her for like a week romantic wise, because, you know, at the start they went to a couple of parties and, you know, he was kissing guys and he wanted to kiss girls and guys and whatever was going on. He didn't really love her, I don't think. It's just like a phase, I don't know. Whereas with Conrad, the love was there from the start and in the history. And I know that they were trying to show that, you know, he's the bad guy now and stuff like that. And I might be just making excuses for bad guys because, you know, I do that too. But I feel like he is not a bad guy. I don't feel like he did anything wrong, probably at all, really. Like, yes, he was moody. Yes, he was standoffish, but all because he didn't want to be a burden to anybody else. Like, he was dealing with his mum's cancer diagnosis alone because nobody else thought he knew, and he didn't want anyone else to know because his mum didn't. So he was dealing with all that alone, and then he was dealing with relationship breakups alone, and then he was dealing with the pressures of like not having a dad and having to be a dad to, you know, his younger brother. And then add, you know, like college and sport or high school or whatever's going on top of all that. Like, it was a lot of pressure for him to deal with alone. And I just feel like he didn't want to be a burden on Belly when, you know, she was supposed to be having this time of her life and, you know, going through all these good things, and he didn't want all the bad things to be affecting her. That's what I think anyway. That's why he was so standoffish, and they, you know, made it come across as he was so moody and so bad. But was he really bad? Because in my eyes, Jeremiah was kind of bad. Everybody knew that Belly and Conrad had something going on. Like, Stephen even confronted them and said,
So what about Conrad?
The parents spoke about how they were so into each other. So why, Jeremiah, knowing that, why did he go after her? And why did he shoot the fireworks to try and stop them from kissing and things like that? Like, that to me is a bad guy, because he doesn't want her to find love. He wants her to love him, and he's going to make her love him. And then when he stole his mum's phone and, you know, went through all the texts to find out about her cancer diagnosis, he left Bella at the dance floor alone. Like, that's, I know he was dealing with a lot of stuff reading the text, and that was very sad, but like, he just abandoned her. I don't know. I just don't think that that's love. But at the same time, by him doing that, we got that beautiful scene. Taylor Swift's song starts pumping, and, you know, that drum beat just kicks in. And then he just like graciously walks up, like no hesitation. He's like, she's struggling. I need to be there for her. And he was there for her. And he just like strode to her, and they danced, and it was perfect. I mean, it was literally out of the Vampire Diaries when Stefan leaves, or Stefan can't make it to the dance, whatever it was. And Damon, you know, steps in, and he's down the bottom of the stairwell, and she just like floats down the stairs, and oh, it was both scenes so perfect. I love them. And I just feel like the chemistry between Belly and Conrad was just, it just fit.
I don't just need somebody. I need you.
I want you to want me.
I do want you.
I'm probably just making excuses now. I feel like I'm just making excuses because I want it so bad. But any of the relationships, all of it was believable. All the scenes were great. And the kissing scenes, like every single kissing scene was in a beautiful spot, or like they kissed really well. It was not awkward or anything. It was not weird. So yeah, I was so happy with like the romantic-y part of the storyline. It was really, really good. Likewise with the soundtrack, it was freaking sick. Like every song was great. Every song just fit perfectly where it should have. Majority of it was Taylor Swift, so I am a little bit biased there, but you know, even the stuff that wasn't Taylor Swift, even the song at the ball where the guys danced, like that was such a cool song. It was just really hip and really hip. Oh my god, I sound old. Anyway, it was just really modern and the songs were really cool. Speaking of modern, I love how they made this like to fit with the times. For example, at the ball, which usually is very cringy, they turned it into something kind of fun. Not just with the music. Yes, the music was pretty fun, but also with the dance moves itself, you know, that they weren't so traditional and so old school. It was very modern and kind of like what you would see if you went to a high school dance these days. So that was really good. And then they were very inclusive of same-sex couples. You know, there was the lesbian girls that were at the ball, and one of the lesbian girls got to dance with the boys in the girls versus boys dance off. So that was also really good. And then Jeremiah, you know, they made it pretty obvious that he's kissed this girl, this girl, this girl, but also this guy, this guy, this guy. So they made it very inclusive. If I could pinpoint one thing that I didn't really like, apart from the cringy nicknames and apart from the fact that they were trying to make Jeremiah out to be so good and Conrad out to be so bad, when really I don't think that was the case at all. Apart from that, there was some scenes that went on a little bit too long. For example, with the volleyball scene, I get why that had to be in there. I get the importance of it. But if I'm being honest, I skipped that at least 20 seconds of that, maybe even 3 times. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, I skipped it and I still got the point. You know, he did bad, he's doing good. Got it. But it went on too long. And likewise at the ball, you know, all the main characters partnered up and came on out with their partners, and it was beautiful. It was great. But when they were all out, like they kept naming these debutantes and, you know, listing all these people, and they kept coming out. And I just thought, God, hurry up. Like, I just want to see Jeremiah and her dance. Well, I didn't even want to see that. Let's be honest. I did not want to see that. I wanted to see Conrad and her dance, or Conrad and her kiss, or whatever. I just wanted to see Belly and someone. I didn't care about the other people, and it just went on a little bit too long for me. And I'm so sorry. I feel like a bitch saying that, but that's the truth. So that was the only downfall, that, you know, some scenes dragged on just a little bit, probably like my video is at the moment, but that's okay. But apart from that, I liked the rest of it, which was totally good. But it's signed on for another series, so that's really good. There's 3 in The Boys I Loved Before, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, I'm hoping that we get 3 or 4 of this, because it was very cute and I really liked it. If you really liked this video, can you give it a like?
What do you give me if I do?
And if you're not already, please subscribe to my channel, and then head on over to my Instagram and give me a follow over there as well, please. Okay, sweet as. Have a good day. Bye.